If you have listened to this podcast over the years, you're most likely a business owner. Some of the things that Tom and I have built over the last 4 years have been for you. But we've realized many, many different things have come out of the knowledge that we have gained through coaching people like you, through doing this podcast, through writing our newsletter, through authoring books, is that it's really about redefining a question when you have success. And this is what Tom and I have kind of understood, is that success in itself creates this brand new question for people, because almost everyone we've worked with or people that have tuned into this and have reached out to us have had a level of success. It could have been they left their corporate job and started a business. It could have been they made their first $100 million. It could have been I've hired my first employee. It could have been we got to the point where I was able to take vacations. But each of those things are a level of success. But when they get there, that in itself creates a whole new question. And that question is, what is success now for me? Am I happy or am I dissatisfied? And Tom and I have really understood this, and now we're culminating all the things that we do to repackage everything in that light, right, Tom?
Yeah, 100%. Everybody, when they set out to do things, especially in their own business, they want to be successful, but they think success is going to bring happiness. And the happiness is very temporary for a lot of people, because people who tend to start their own businesses tend to be these overachievers, these high achievers, these people who are always seeking more and more and more. When they get to that point of, I've had this success, but why am I still dissatisfied with it? Why am I not happy? It really brings that new question of, what is success really all about? And you brought this into our conversations a couple of weeks ago. You read that book, and it changed. What was the book? It was by
It's
Naval
the
Ravikant, you
Almanac
said?
of Naval Ravikant.
There you
And it's
go.
a collection of it's a great author. Man, I forgot his name. It's a great author and he's done this for Elon recently. I'm going to read that one next. But he's taken all of the public tweets, newsletters, and things of that nature of somebody, and he's done this for Naval Ravikant. And then he's organized that into a story that he tells based on his wisdom and everything. And one of the things that they say in this book that Naval tweeted one day is that all happiness is when nothing is missing. And that really resonated with me. I was sitting on the beach in Miami with my family reading this, and I'm like, wow, I am happy right now because at this moment, nothing is missing. But when I go back to work, when I'm done with this vacation, there's a lot of things missing. Clients are missing, revenue is missing, freedom's missing, time's missing, support staff is missing. Well, there's all these things that are missing. And then I'm like, wait a minute. So when I get back to work, am I unhappy? And I'm like, no, I'm not unhappy. I'm just dissatisfied. And in the book, they talk a little bit further about dissatisfaction. And what I've come to realize with Tom is that there's this conduit. Success is a temporary conduit from dissatisfaction and thriving and striving for that success. And then you just take a momentary pathway of success into happiness. So that success is just a moment in time. It is a conduit. It is a highway from one destination to another destination. That's all it really is. You're trying to have success. And while you're trying to have success, you are most likely dissatisfied with current results, which is why you're trying so hard. And then the moment you have that success, I've achieved it, then nothing's missing and you're happy. You're no longer successful. You were successful. Now you're happy. And that's the problem, is people think that I'm successful, and it's no, they're happy because nothing's missing. But then along that path, at least I've recognized this for myself and many of our clients, is that along that happiness path, then all of a sudden there's this dissatisfaction in something. It may be they're bored. I'm dissatisfied with the nothing's missing. It may be I want more money. It may be my business is running, but now like I want more out of it. The issue is they're like, why am I not happy? I should be happy. And they're not ungrateful for what they have. They're not, anything less. They're just ready for something more. And then typically what they'll do is they'll go through and try to do the same exact things that brought them happiness last time. And they'll
Hmm.
do that successfully, in air quotes, for those of you who are listening, meaning they'll make more revenue, or they'll hire more people, or they'll bring on more clients, or they'll grow a second business. And they're still dissatisfied. And they're like, I'm not getting this happiness anymore. I don't understand what it is. And what we've come to realize is it's not, success has to be redefined. And that's what success does. It creates a new question of, what is success for me now? It's not more of the same thing. It's something different. We've evolved. We just don't know what we've evolved to. And that is selfishly a lot of the work that Tom and I do in our Be the CEO program, which we've learned that it's really a philosophy. It's a way of thinking and acting and going out there and achieving things. And it's this exploration of ourselves, of who we are and who we want to be and what our business could be and what we want it to be and what are our new values. Like we have all these new values. And once we understand what those things are, that allows us to truly define a new dissatisfaction, a new thing that we're going to strive for to have success, which may temporarily bring us happiness once again. But the worst part is when we see someone, or I've been this person, where I'm like, I'm supposed to be happy right now, but I'm not.
Mhm.
So we just put effort and energy and all the things to do, and then you achieve what's supposed to be successful, but you're still dissatisfied. And like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And it's this frustration that successful people have at every level. And that's the thing. It happens at each level and it doesn't really stop. Because when you get there, when you get to that milestone that you've set for yourself, it's just a moment. And then you're
Mhm.
like, all right, it's just Tuesday morning now. And yeah, nothing's missing and I'm happy. And maybe that lasts you for a week or two. But most people who are driven like this, they get bored really quick. And then they're sitting there like, why am I not happy? I have everything I want. Nothing is missing. But something feels off. And that's it. It's like there's a new level for you to go to. It's just exploring what it is. And we've had to do that for ourselves, right, Tom?
Yeah, 100%. It's like you reach those levels and you've evolved into this different person who defined what success was. And now you've reached a different point, and you thought you would have reached your potential at this point sometime, with the success that you had. And what you realize is that you've evolved, and so has your potential evolved because what you are now capable of, right? Your potential, there is always, are you going to ever reach your potential, right? That's one of the big things we talk about. But you have to define success at every successful milestone because it's going to be different each time. To what you were saying before, like you can't repeat things and try to do it the same way and achieve the same result. I mean, that's like insanity. Well, that's the definition, right? Is doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. But you have to recognize that when you first start out, a lot of people have defined success for you, and some people don't even think about it. And this is why it also brings up a whole other question, is because some people just went into their business and did their thing, and success to them was what everybody else said it would be, not what they ever took the time to understand. And we have always asked the question, well, what does success look like for you? And if you don't take a step back and you evaluate what that really means, then it's impossible in many ways to ever be fully happy because you won't know what's missing, or you'll find more things that are missing. And I think the important thing is that you have to recognize that this is an evolution of who you are as a person. And at every iteration of your evolution, you are a different person. So the person, we were talking with somebody yesterday, and we said, you're no longer that person. So the values and the standards and everything that you put in place to achieve the success that you have achieved no longer are relevant to your new reality that you've created. So you now have to redefine what that reality looks like and what the success of that new reality will look like. And then you can achieve what you're setting out to achieve and hopefully eventually hit that happiness again, right? But then it's what's missing again. And you go through this cycle over and over of dissatisfaction to happiness to success. And it really becomes a whole cycle. And you have to recognize that you're going to go through this many, many, many times. And the only time it really will ever stop is when you're dead. I mean, essentially, that's the only time it stops because that's when you stop.
Maybe. And look, I've watched people that have gotten to a level of success and then they have happiness and they're good. And that they're complacent and there's nothing wrong with that. I've
Hmm.
in my former careers, I got many people to the point of like, this is good. It's all I need. They explore different hobbies and things and they're successful. They were successful, which allowed them to be happy, and now nothing's missing, and they get to enjoy it. So maybe it's when you're dead, or maybe it's when you get to a point when you can last longer periods of time without dissatisfaction. But for business owners, it's a little bit different, right? For business owners, there's usually this drive. There's this drive to constantly create, to produce, to bring something to life for the world. And that drive, that candle usually doesn't go out. And for those people, the interesting part is that they're always building 2 businesses. And the thing is that when they're building the business that they're in right now, and they've gotten it to this air quotes again success level, and they feel nothing's missing and they have dissatisfaction, it's usually because they're not taking any time to build their second business. Because we're always building 2, the one that we're in and the one that we're becoming. And what most people do is they are so nervous about destroying the business they're in right now. And that's absolutely correct. If you focus on this business you're becoming, you're going to destroy the one you're in. And this is really the skill that comes into being a CEO is how do you consistently work on both of those businesses? How do you intentionally work on both of those businesses? That's really the idea is to constantly take care of the one you're in while you're becoming this other one. And that allows for happiness and dissatisfaction to coexist, not at the same moment, but in the same day, in the same week, in the same quarter. And this is really what most driven people want, whether you're striving to be the best baseball player or sing on a stage or be a great titan of industry or create something brand new from scratch that's going to generate revenue. It's being able to simultaneously do both of those businesses. And what most do is they put all their focus on one or the other. And I've seen, unfortunately, where people are ready to become this other business, become this other thing, and they abandon ship on the one that they're in. And then cash flow dries up and clients dry up and pipelines and productivity. And then they're either broke or miserable. And that's not what we want either. So there's a truly delicate harmony between doing both of these things simultaneously that allows you to not only flourish in what you already understand and where you've reached the pinnacle of success, but now maintain that while you're becoming this new leader of this new thing. And it doesn't mean you need to create a new business or get a new hobby, but it means you can't really keep doing it the same way you've been doing it because that will just lead to the same level of success, which to you now is no longer success. That's why you have to redefine it. This is just an amazing philosophy that Tom and I did not understand that we were generating for our clients over the
Yeah.
last 4 years. We were just naturally doing this. We didn't have labels and we didn't have pure we couldn't make it succinct in an explanation, and now we really do. It's that we help these successful people understand why they're dissatisfied and then give them a direct way to get to their new level of success. It's been our pleasure to do this, but now we appreciate all the clients and all the people, all the networks we've been to, the dinners and mentors and all these things that allowed us to really grow into who we were next. Because
Mhm.
we even had a dissatisfaction and we're like, we should be happy for what we have. So we're our best clients. We go through this too, because everybody will, as Tom says, and it may be until death, it may be until retirement, it may be until you get the next job or whatever it may be. But it's truly a concept that if you look at it, you've probably already experienced it. And maybe you went through to the next level. You just didn't understand how you did it. And what we want to do is save people an immense amount of time in getting directly to what that next level is with the most ease as possible to their heart and soul. Because that's the thing is like you're in this thing. You're inside of it and you want to break through, but you don't even know where you're trying to go. So how can you get there?
I think that's such a critical point that you just made. Like the whole evolution and the dissatisfaction can become so blinding, and you may not be able to see exactly what you need to know, where you need to go, and you don't. You struggle with the new questions that come up because of it. The questions get deeper, the questions get more intense. And if you are dissatisfied, you can easily become distracted by everything else, and that's what will, as you said before, if you're trying to, you don't strike that harmony between the business you're in and the business you're becoming, that will make things fall apart. So it's really important that we simplify things and we look at things very simply and ask simpler questions and not let yourself get too much into the weeds of the questions, because it will distract you from really answering the one that you really need to answer. And I think that's part of what we've done for a lot of people. We've helped people to take these very complex ways of thinking now that they've achieved this success and they have these new questions, we've helped them to simplify so that we can really tune into the signal and eliminate the noise of some of that dissatisfaction so that you can get to that next place so you can be happy again and achieve that success.
So, hey, thanks for listening. Tom and I are going to write a new book on this. It'll be our third collaborative book. You can check out our website. You can go to atomicbusinesscoaching.com, or you can go to bethe.ceo. You can see a little bit more about what we're doing. We're always doing amazing networking events. We don't really advertise them much. They're more invite only and private, and we like to have like minded people around us, people who are successful in going through these things. That's where we learned a lot of this. That's where we really were able to kind of practice. Tom and I, we can't really practice with our clients. We have to know what we're doing there. But out in these other spaces, we've been able to listen to what are other people going through and see the writing on the wall, so to speak. So if you're interested in attending any of these beautiful dinners or lunches that we do, they're really a lot of fun. They're small and intimate. Once a month, even tonight, we're going to our monthly networking group, which is again invite only. That group even is not it's not your traditional group. It's everybody who comes there was invited by somebody else, and there's no elevator pitches. There's no spotlight things. It's just very simple and casual, and it's funny when you go around the room, some people are not even talking about business, they're just talking about life, and that's what this is about. Success really does create a new question for us, and we're lucky enough that we're around a lot of people all the time that are interested in defining that question for themselves. So if you're one of those people, get involved with us, get a meeting with us, come to one of our things, even send us an email or something. We'd love to hear back from you. Thanks.